What's up, you guys? Josh here today, back at it again today with another video. Actually, it's probably night, depending on when I'm actually filming this review for you guys. I actually wanted to talk to you guys about this jacket. This is a very special jacket that I just got in the mail from Untitled Leather. Untitled Leather is a company based out in Great Britain. They are an awesome company, make really high quality sort of, movie style replica jackets. This is actually a company that actually made the jackets for Harrison Ford and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark being one of my favorite Indiana Jones films of all time. I actually got the Kubra Federation 4 hat first before I actually purchased the jacket. If you guys like these reviews, I might actually go in the future and review this hat itself. So let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want me to actually review this hat as well. Maybe I'll do a separate video of that as well. I'm challenged because I really do like the company that I actually bought this from. They shipped this out actually relatively quickly as well. Due to the thing that we're kind of experiencing right now in terms of the current event that we're kind of, pretty much all going through. I actually ended up in sort of the hospital a while back, not related to sort of the events that are currently unfolding before us. This is actually a separate thing that happened to me. Don't really want you guys to worry that much just because I am fine, doing a lot better than I was there. But while I was in the hospital, I was actually kind of thinking about sort of where I wanted to be in life and sort of my future and stuff. And one of the things I really wanted was this replica Indiana Jones style hat. And you can't really have a replica Indiana Jones style hat without having the Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark jacket. And personally speaking, Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. Harrison Ford obviously is one of my favorite actors. I really like his characters such as Han Solo and Indiana Jones, or Indy. Funny enough, I actually lived in Indiana for a short period of time, so that's kind of hilarious. I now live in Minnesota. But that's neither here nor there. I actually bought this jacket on a Thursday and it arrived on a Monday, which I was really surprised about the fast shipping speed that it came, especially from Great Britain and England. Untitled Leather shipped this out in a really timely manner compared to some of my other stuff, but I kind of understand with what we're going through. I'm not going to really get everything I want here, that fast. Now, the reason why I also wanted to buy this jacket was not just because of the fact that I wanted it. It was mostly because of the fact that I want to wear this to conventions. I'm getting really into sort of cosplay and sort of cosplaying as my favorite movie characters, that being Han Solo, as well as sort of, Indiana Jones. I really also like, Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi and all the Star Wars characters and stuff, because, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, who basically worked on these films, really did inspire me as a kid to kind of want to become a filmmaker and stuff like that. Steven Spielberg with Indiana Jones and, Jurassic Park, and, Raiders of the Lost Ark was no exception. That was one of those movies I grew up watching as a kid, and it made me want to watch, Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, which is funny enough because they do actually sell sort of the Last Crusade as well as Temple of Doom jackets there as well. They also sell the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull jacket if you're a huge fan of that as well. I actually do have a replica of the actual legit Mitchell Hedges skull from the Crystal Skull sort of mythology at my house, which I don't really have to show you guys here in this video, but I thought that was kind of funny considering the fact that they do make that jacket. But it's kind of funny because this jacket shipped relatively quickly coming from the UK and Great Britain and stuff like that. It shipped from Germany and then went from Germany in transit to Tennessee as well, and then here to Minnesota, which I think was kind of funny considering the fact that in the Indiana Jones movies, Indy kind of goes from England to Germany to, back to the United States and stuff relatively a lot throughout the course of the entire franchise. And, that was one of the things that really inspired me as a kid to go out and become a filmmaker and go on adventures and stuff like that and kind of get out of my sort of shell that I had been living in. And that's kind of with me right now, is I'm trying to kind of better myself and improve my sort of life situation and try to make myself a better person. I think that by dressing up as these characters, by dressing up as like Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, doing these cosplay sort of things, and especially Indiana Jones, like you're making other people happy, you're making other people's lives, and that's something that really does make me feel good as a person, because I know that, life isn't really that easy and everybody has difficulties and troubles and stuff. And if I can make somebody, feel a little bit better by dressing up as these characters or making these videos or helping you guys out when you guys are trying to purchase your own products, that's going to make me feel better in the end. And that's one of the things that keeps me going with these videos, is because, I know that I'm actually helping somebody else out who might be looking into purchasing one of these products, or, wanting to see if this movie's any good, or wanting to see if sort of this film is something that they should see in the theaters or not, or skip it or wait till it comes on video. As a film buff, as somebody who's a movie critic or a product reviewer, that's something that I get to do myself as an individual. And I think that's really cool, especially the fact that I have a YouTube channel where I can, hopefully in the future talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark, talk about Last Crusade and Temple of Doom, which are some of my favorite Indiana Jones films. I've grown accustomed to liking Kingdom of the Crystal Skull as it's kind of went on. When I first saw that movie in the theaters, I didn't actually really like it that much, just because of the fact that, it was one of the weaker Indiana Jones films, but I realized that, Steven Spielberg actually didn't really want to make that movie. He wanted to do something else, but he was helping his friend out, George Lucas, and, he kind of made it for his friend, so it's something that I can really respect as a filmmaker, doing something not just for yourself, but for something that you actually care about and stuff like that. And I know that, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are really close, and they're kind of two of my favorite filmmakers, so obviously I really like it just because of that reason alone, because of the fact that, during the George Lucas era, we kind of got some really cool movies in the process and stuff. So, I don't really fault, anybody for anything that happened later on in life. I think it's just the fact that, movies tend to kind of get worse and worse as you get through, age and stuff. Sometimes you get good movies, sometimes you get bad movies, but, that's kind of why I'm here, is to kind of review these movies for you guys and kind of give you guys my opinion. Just because I review a movie, don't like something, doesn't mean you guys can't like it, doesn't mean you can't watch it. But in any case, this jacket is really personal to me. It's something that I really wanted. So I bit the bullet and I used both birthday and Christmas money to buy it. And this jacket is $185 or 185 euros on sort of the Wested Leather site. Conversion to USD, it's about $230 with shipping, and it ships relatively fast. So if you're worried about shipping right now, even with sort of the thing that we're all kind of experiencing right now, you're not going to have any problems. It's going to ship, pretty much when it ships, and it usually ships pretty fast. It did for me anyway. What was pretty hilarious is I actually did my review or my research on sort of these jackets by watching a lot of reviews, trying to figure out which jacket I wanted, which one I didn't want. In the future I might actually buy sort of the Temple of Doom jacket or the Last Crusade jacket, depending on whether or not I get the money for that. Or, if this does well, maybe I'll use some of the money, if I do eventually make money off these videos, to kind of purchase those jackets to review in the future, or maybe Wested Leather could actually deliver one to me, to review. But in any case, I had to get the Raiders jacket because obviously I love the Raiders of the Lost Ark franchise. I really like the first movie, which is Raiders. I also like Last Crusade, but I didn't really want that jacket right away. Maybe in the future, if I want that jacket, I'll, bite the bullet again and purchase this. But I have been wearing this non-stop since I bought this. Since it's gotten here, I've worn it to the gas station, I've worn it to the grocery store. I've pretty much worn it any chance that I have. Even like laying around and watching Indiana Jones movies and, wearing the hat and sort of the jacket with it. It's just kind of fun to kind of wear these around and kind of cosplay in your own home and kind of watch the movies along with sort of wearing sort of the gear from the films. This is as close as you're ever going to get to actually having the screen used prop. This was made by Peter Botwright, who made the jacket for Harrison Ford for the Raiders of the Lost Ark film. He actually made the other jackets for the films, I think, and that's the reason why that you get sort of the other jackets on their website. You can buy other things such as the bullwhip that Indy uses, also the safari jacket, which I don't have, which I might buy in the future just so I can have a little bit more of a getup going here. Maybe in the future I'll actually get sort of the bullwhip and the pants. But I can obviously go to Kohl's for that stuff and kind of hunt that down and see if they actually have it for cheaper. Otherwise I'll just, eventually buy that from Wested Leather itself. I was already actually kind of considering doing that before I made the video anyway, but that is neither here nor there. Now, what's really cool about this jacket and something that's relatively unique compared to some of my other jackets that I wear, the jackets that are made here in the United States are, the zippers are on the right side, so when you're zipping them up and down, you got the right side zipper, whereas the Wested Leather jacket, you actually have the zipper on the left, which is kind of hilarious just because you have the left and right for driving and stuff. I didn't think it was actually going to translate for my jackets and stuff, but I think that was a little cool feature that is relatively unique compared to some of my other jackets. I had a little bit of trouble getting used to that when I was kind of zipping up and down my jacket. I thought maybe it was defective or there's something wrong with it, but it turns out it's just part of the jacket. Also, I was doing a whole bunch of research on sort of the jacket that I wanted to buy because the sizing difference is a little bit here in the States compared to the UK. In the United States, we've got small, medium, large, XL, 2XL, 3XL, depending on how large they want to make these stuff. In the UK, actually, this jacket goes by a numbering system, so you really want to go on their website. You want to measure both your chest, you want to measure your arm length and everything, just to kind of get the right fit. I actually guessed my sort of thing just because I saw another YouTuber who did a review on his, and he was actually 5'11" and had sort of the size 44 jacket. I'm also relatively 5'11" and don't weigh that much anymore like I used to. So I pretty much bought the bullet. I'm like, I'm just going to buy a size 44 because I think that's going to be able to fit me. I picked that up. Once it got here, I tried it on, and surprisingly enough, it fits. It's a little bit big, but I mean, as time goes on, I'll probably grow into it a little bit. So I mean, it's kind of nice to have a little bit more of sort of a length in here, just in case I do kind of grow into it a little bit more. I'm not trying to, because I want to keep this sort of pristine. But that's one of the reasons why I didn't review this right away, is because I want to get some more of the creases and the crinkles and stuff in the jacket, just to kind of make it look a little bit more worn, like it was kind of worn by Harrison Ford himself in the films and stuff like that, or even Indy himself, depending on who you want to sort of view this as a jacket for. But inside the lining of this jacket is pretty cool. You get really comfortable sort of material on the side here. I don't know if you can see clearly. I might have to take the jacket off. But you get the British flag. You also get the inscription that basically says that this is made for Harrison Ford by Peter Botwright for the Raiders of the Lost Ark film. You also get sort of pockets on the left and the right, or the left side, so that you can put like a wallet or sort of a cell phone on. On the right side, you don't really have a pocket. You just get the nice kind of lining on here. You do get pockets on both the front on the left and the right side, which I think is kind of nice if you want to put a cell phone in there. They're kind of big pockets, so they're pretty much big enough, like it is in the film, to kind of put, a wallet or some like artifact if you find something, like if you're actually going on an adventure or something like that, or sort of your cell phone, whatever. I like to keep my cell phone and my wallet sort of in my pants, just because I can feel it and I can know if something's missing or if I don't have it with me. It's just ease of use. But if you wanted to put something in here, you definitely could. I'm going to take this jacket off just to kind of show you what you get on the inside. You also get the Wested leather sort of signature on there. You also get sort of the British flag, and it says British by design, and it's got Wested Leather's logo. You also get sort of this inscription. I don't know if you guys can read it that clearly, but it says, made by Peter Botwright for Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark. As you can see, you get that nice material that I was talking about, and the big giant pockets on the inside, which is pretty sweet. You get sort of this really cool pattern on the back, kind of like it was in Raiders of the Lost Ark, that Harrison Ford wore in the film. You got sort of the sort of length of the arms and stuff. It actually is a pretty big length, and as you can see here, the pockets are relatively huge, so I really like that feature as well. Overall, I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. I actually grew up watching the films non-stop. As a kid, I still watch them non-stop as an adult. So one of the reasons why I wanted to get this, because it's one of those cosplays that I've always wanted to kind of do. I always kind of want to dress up like Indiana Jones and have sort of the gear to kind of talk to you guys about these movies in the future on my channel, whether I'm reviewing Raiders of the Lost Ark or Temple of Doom or Last Crusade. It always kind of felt weird that I was not really kind of dressing up in sort of the getup or the gear in kind of, sort of Indiana Jones fashion. You just can't do that, like especially with reviewing stuff. Like it's always fun to kind of have that stuff just to kind of wear it in sort of a video, and to have sort of as close to a movie accurate jacket as you're ever going to get. There's a little bit of discrepancies because on sort of the straps here on the side, there's actually a D-ring now instead of sort of the more rectangular metal piece that was on sort of the jacket in the film. The fact that this was pretty much done by memory, because they didn't actually have the actual schematics or the actual patterns itself from the original jacket. They kind of had to do this by hand and by memory because they kind of lost that over time with the different movies that kind of came out. But this is as close as you're ever going to have to actually owning sort of the hero jacket from the film, which they actually do make. But that's relatively hard to find because they don't really make this. This is a stock jacket. And I actually got mine in goat skin. They actually have lamb skin as well. They have different kind of materials. They even have cotton, so if you want to get that, you can obviously wear that as well. I actually thought about getting the cotton one just because it was a little bit cheaper than buying sort of the actual leather jacket itself. So if you're more comfortable actually buying sort of that sort of material, then you can obviously do that. They also make the Temple of Doom jacket. Like I said before, they make the Last Crusade and Kingdom of Crystal Skull, if you're a fan of that movie as well. I've kind of grown fond of that movie over time. But, Wested Leather is a really great company. I highly recommend them, especially if you're doing sort of a cosplay or a fan film, or you just want this in the background of your videos, or you want to use this while you're wearing this for your reviews if you want to talk about Indiana Jones. I really do think that this is a jacket you're going to love. I've, ever since I opened this out of the box, I'm like, this thing is pretty badass. This is one of those things that, you definitely get a lot of looks, especially wearing around in public. They kind of want to ask you if this is actually the jacket used in Indiana Jones. And you can obviously tell them, yes, it's the one that's used in Indiana Jones for Harrison Ford in the film. and you actually get a certificate of authenticity once you purchase it, so it kind of has a actual proof, which I've actually posted on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, and sort of my social media feeds. So if you want to check that out, you can obviously do that. But just a real quick overview, I'm going to show you guys kind of what this looks like. On the back, you've got sort of this really cool pattern, this design. On the front, you've got sort of this really cool pattern with the pockets here on the left and right. I mean, you can't really see it right now. On the inside, you can zip this up. The zipper's on the left side. You also get sort of the pocket here. You don't get one there, unfortunately. But you do get this really nice soft material. So I think this is a high quality, well-made product for any Indiana Jones fan. I think if you're a fan of the franchise, fan of the films, you should definitely consider about buying this jacket for yourselves, considering this is as close as you're going to get to actually owning the real thing. Now, you can buy other companies' replica jackets, but for me personally, I didn't want a replica. I wanted to get as close to a real jacket as I possibly could to the actual one worn in the movies, and the one from Wested Leather is definitely that jacket. As always, guys, hope you guys learned a thing or two about the movie industry. And if you guys like this review and want me to do more in the future, please rate, comment, subscribe below. Hope you guys learned a thing or two about the movie industry. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.